Hi everyone, my name is Lorelie with LorelieKDesigns.com. I'm a full-time mixed media artist here in Omaha, Nebraska. I'm here today to give you just a brief history of a little doll I use a lot in my art called Frozen Charlotte. This is Charlotte. I sold my first Charlotte piece back in 2009. When I first started selling them, the Etsy category had about 200 items when you search for Frozen Charlotte. Today, in 2014, the category has grown to over 700. So you can see Charlotte's becoming quite popular in the mixed media world. On any given day, you might find me on Google as the #1 Frozen Charlotte search, sometimes #2, and my website on this day happened, which was 2 days ago, happened to be #3, and my Etsy shop was #1. Yay! Anyway, a lot of these little dolls are being found in Germany, broken, abandoned, a little worse for the wear. The doll factories are being torn down for development, and like everything, we have to develop and make bigger and better, so the old things are thankfully being saved in this case. There's a great book called The Story of German Doll Making by Krumholtz that has some fabulous, you can find it on Amazon, has some fabulous photos of the dolls being buried in walls for insulation, the ones that are broken. Maybe a little less than perfect, had a little mold mark that, you can see she was probably discarded because of the little damage to her. So there's pictures of them in walls, there's pictures of them in streams, and now that they're being torn, the doll factories are being torn down, a lot of these little dolls are being unearthed, and people like me fell in love with them and are now bringing them back to life. There's two theories of thought of where the name came from, depending on who you would like to believe. It either came from a poem by William Lorenzo Carter in 1834, or I'm sorry, actually not a poem, but a ballad. He was a blind minstrel from Vermont. Some credit him for giving the doll the name Frozen Charlotte. Others say it was based on a poem by Seba Smith in 1839. Either way, the jury's out on who you believe, where the name actually came from, but it is based on a story. The Seba Smith is saying that it's based on a true story that happened in 1839 of a little girl who went to a ball. She didn't cover up in her sleigh like her mom told her to, and hence she froze to death. It's kind of sad, but it's also a pretty heartwarming love story because the little boy never got over her, went to her grave every day, and actually died of a broken heart. You can Google search Frozen Charlotte poem and you'll get the whole poem. It's quite lengthy, so I'll just let you do that one. The name is a North American name. In Germany, they did not call these dolls Frozen Charlottes. That is a name given in North America to the dolls. In Germany, they were known as bathing dolls. There are also several other names that they were given. They were also called Frozen Charlies, which would be a boy, and somewhere here here is a Frozen Charlie. That would be given to the boys. Teacup dolls, they would put the little dolls in the bottom of the teacups when the little girls drank them. At the bottom was a surprise. Hopefully no little girls choked on those. Pillar dolls, again, just because they were frozen and how straight they stood. Penny dolls, because of the price. They would go anywhere from about 6 cents to $2.35 a dozen, which I would love to find them for $2.35 a dozen today. 25-cent dolls, a German name, excuse my German, Baderkinder, and then floating fannies, because they were very popular for little girls in the 1800s during the summer months, especially because they would float. So floating fannies is that name. You can date the little Charlottes in different ways. Some with the gold boots would date to the 1870s. There's some of my favorite, excuse my dog barking in the background there. The gold boot ones, let me get her up there. They're harder to find. I absolutely love them. Here's another teeny tiny one with the gold boots. Again, these would date to the 1870s when boots were fashionable. Got some with a flat top hair. See how much flatter her head is? The flat hair would date to about the 1880s. Any that are marked Germany, this one isn't marked Germany, but she does have a mold mark on her back. The ones marked Germany would date after 1887. They were produced between about 1850s and into the 1930s. And these are some examples of my different frozen Charlottes. All beautiful. This happens to be the tiniest one in my collection. This is one I use in my art a lot, and you can see how much smaller that one is even than the one I use in my art. This one's about 1 inch. There are a lot of dolls being categorized as frozen Charlotte today. I think it's just becoming kind of a catchphrase for things made with doll parts, which is okay. This is not a frozen Charlotte, and this is not a frozen Charlotte. These are beautiful China doll heads, but they're not frozen Charlottes. These also, beautiful bathing dolls from Germany. Again, not frozen Charlottes, these are bathing dolls. These are some other pieces that might be categorized as frozen Charlotte. However, again, these are not frozen Charlottes. You can see they all have little holes where their arms would go, thus making them jointed, hence making them not frozen Charlottes. Frozen Charlottes are exactly that. They are a doll with no moving parts or frozen into place. So that's pretty much just a real brief summary. Again, some of the names you can find the frozen Charlottes by. Depending on who you want to go with, you can, it's either, the name's either based on a ballad by a blind minstrel or a poem by Seba Smith. And if you'd like to learn more about my making of frozen Charlottes and see some of my designs, you can visit me at loreliekdesigns.com. And some of my references used here today are right here. Again, I thank you all for coming. I hope you enjoyed just that little brief history, and I hope you go out and find yourself a frozen Charlotte doll, because once you do, you're gonna be hooked. Have a great day, everybody. Happy creating!